Hello, greetings. This is Gilles Mention. I thought I'd come and say hello. Wish you a good day as always. I hope you enjoy your day. Repeat to yourself, I love my life. My life is beautiful. The more you, even if you do not feel that, the more you repeat that to yourself, it creates the condition for creating this potential of living in a world and in a life that is full of wonder and for there is all kinds of potential possibility. As we let go of the old, we are able to move on forward. For what make us suffer is us holding on to the past. For since 2012 there's been a great shift, and now it's so much easier to let go of the past. For there was great change in the world of cause in this at the end of 2012. Spirit showed me. And so sometimes we feel like we're moving backwards or we're moving on our heads, but it's not true. Every day we are being prepared, we are progressing, even if sometimes we feel we're making one step forward and two steps backward. That is not the case. We are growing, we are evolving, we are becoming more. And so those ideas of ascension is not known by the mainstream, and we have to anchor those energies into the world, so that the more people anchor those energies, live in these new energies, the faster the shift will come. There is only a few years left before the final judgment, before the veils fall. And so it is very important to utilize this time to assert our faith, because afterwards it will be too late. It's like there was this bet of Pascal, the French philosopher Pascal. He says, maybe there is a God, maybe there is no God, but in the benefit of the doubt, it's better to believe there is a God than because if there is a God after death, we will be happy that we have chosen to believe in God. And because so it is a matter for atheism works very well for a lot of people. We can't we have nothing for someone who is atheist. Somebody who's believing in God is in complete illusion. But for somebody who knows about God, those who are atheists live in an illusion of separation. So it was relative. I was an atheist until I realized, I came to a document that opened myself to the realization of God. And so there was no more question on that. This higher intelligence, this supreme intelligence that created the universe, for me is not a belief. It is a reality. If I have any doubts, it's about my ability to align with my own soul plans, but it is not about the existence of God. But yet we have to accept that everybody will come to that realization when it is their time. What is I pulled a few cards from the Angel Tarot. The situation today is knowledge, savoir. The knowledge, for knowledge come from knowledge, and wisdom come from knowledge. It does not come from ignorance. Ignorance will only breed more ignorance, when wisdom and knowledge will bring more wisdom and more knowledge. So tune in, turn in, look for wisdom, look for those books, those communication, those ancient books of wisdom that to integrate that, to utilize that, to see how you can work with that. For we are all different. We are working through an uncharted territory. We are expanding into those realms of spirit, and we all are unique. So we have to follow whatever flow is personal to us. I recommend to acquire and work with a book called the I Ching. It's an ancient book of Chinese book of wisdom. It is a very, very practical wisdom. In terms with it's an oracle book, but maybe I'll create a video about tutorial on how to use the I Ching. But it's fairly easy to use, and it's always appropriate in giving us guidance. Whenever we seek guidance, it will give us a position of wisdom in relationship to the will of heaven. What comes around this situation is humility, for we have to stay humble. We have to recognize that no matter what we know, we do not know all that much. As Socrates said, there is the only thing I'm sure and that I know is that I do not know. And as you say, I do not know, something comes in to respond to that. If you say that I know, there is no space for anything else to fill your cup. So always remain in this not knowing, in this stillness of soul, in this stillness, so we can communicate with our soul, that our mind can integrate the soul knowledge. What we see before us is luck, so we have to be open to miracle, to lucky circumstances. and He will unfold before us. What we have in our subconscious, the past, is purification. We are moving in this purification, for there is certain things that we need to purify. We've been cleansing, we've been working, we've been and do not give up, for it is a process. Where we are now is generosity. We are being generous, we are being kind, we have to be kind to others, for all the beings that everybody's going through. We do not know what anybody else is going through, why they are where they are, only God knows. So be generous in your judgment, in yourself. What's coming up next is reparation. We're going to be able to fix up all the parts of our life that are still in suffering, that are still in misalignment, and this great phase, this new phase. Sometimes it's hard to move out of a cycle when we are stuck, but not stuck, but we are limited into the habits of our life. And so Spirit says that I will soon be able to move on to a new set of circumstances that will be able to, so I will be able to fix up all kinds of things that are that when I was not aware, I allowed that to be misaligned, but we'll be able to fix up, to clean up the Akash, the third dimensional Akash, the third and fourth dimensional Akash, and then it's fifth, sixth, seventh dimensional Akash. But it is our responsibility to clear up our own Akash. Nobody can do that for us, to bring into alignment, to move into full consciousness, although full consciousness is a relative term, for only God knows God, but we'll move into level by level, and we'll ascend as we recognize this eternal part of ourselves. The strength that we have in this situation is the judgment, is the ability to allow the universe to bring about his own judgment. For the universe is always, the forces of spirit are always in alignment with the highest good of all. Always work with your intention for your own highest good first, then the highest good of the planet, then the highest good of humanity, and then the highest good of all. Then you align, and you with the whole company of heaven, and there is all kinds of support, assistance, protection, guidance that is offered as we choose to embrace the divine will. We always have to seek to do the will of the Father in heaven. What surrounds us around us in our physical environment is family, for we are all one family in truth. But we want to connect to those souls that we resonate with, so we can create an environment where we can enjoy, have fun, feel we can support each other, and to reconnect to this to our soul family and our family, and to become one family eventually, one family under God. For what we have in our hopes and fear and our emotions is optimism, so we have to stay optimistic. Sometimes we feel like we are very optimistic, we are very enthusiastic, we have all this inspiration, this energy, and all of a sudden our spiritual energy is dissolved. It is like it's gone, and we feel like our energy is going back down. It's because we are transmuting part of the collective energy. So do not let yourself be distracted by those times. They're just very temporary. We are in great assistance, and every thought, every words, every deed, every intention is significant, because some more than others, but everything is recorded within the Akash, and this Akash is enclosed within each and every one of our cells. And so it is all an internal process of transmutation. So breathe in the light, invoke the light, know yourself as the light. Do whatever spiritual exercise feels resonant with you, and the outcome is abundance. Is the abundance. So we need finance. Finance will liberate us. Finance is not the only form of abundance, but it is a potent form of abundance. And so we wanna be open to receive from the universe this abundance, and to be grateful and humble, and then we will from there anything will become possible. So I wanted to speak about the idea that first we have to come up to this. For atheism works for a lot of people. We respect that, and we let them live their life. There's people that are atheists that have moral consciousness, and those who have no moral consciousness. Same thing with religious people. There are some religious people that believe that they hold the truth, and everybody else that does not share this same truth will go to hell, and those are completely in illusion as well. For there is so we want to, but when we embrace the idea of God, for when we seek God, it's like we have found it already. for it's something that comes naturally. And so the first idea is to discover the idea of God, to realize that there has to be a God. In essence, the religion that works through separation and fear will have to disappear. Only those that work through love and unity will accept the love and unity, will survive the shift. Then we move into the ideals of God, to embrace the potential of aligning ourselves to the divine will, and eventually we move into the reality of God, the realization, the ascension, the illumination, the ascension reality. Eventually we'll have because once we clear our Akash, we'll become fully co-creators. Right now we're still having to deal with all past, so some subconscious thoughts that are still coming to be balanced. Once we'll have cleared up this Akash, we'll be full co-creator of our reality. And this clearing up of the Akash is on a quantum state level. It means it's outside of time, space, energy, matter, everything is energy, but it's outside of the realm of the ego mind. So it's about also understanding that the fifth and sixth dimension, the galactic planes, the galactic families are very close to us. They are within the atmosphere. They disguise themselves as clouds, but they're very close. So you can, when you see a cloud that has a very strange formation that does not look like a natural cloud, it's a ship, and you can send greetings and say, well, I want to visit your ship, I want to invite me, and you will be invited. Sometimes we all go there to those ships when we dream, when we sleep. And so nobody else can clear up our karma, can balance out our karma. If we ask somebody else, people can assist, spirit can assist, but we have to do that. Otherwise, if somebody would do it for us, it would create more karma in relationship to something that we already have the power to do. And we have to accept to make new choices, to let go of the old choices, to forgive ourselves for the old choices. In order to, since 2012, it's been a lot easier. For life is not linear, it's a circle, but we want to expand the circle to become always a larger circle. And also to understand that one idea, one thought can change our life. Everything can shift at any time when we're ready for something. Our divine minister, the I Am Presence, will shift us, will let us know of certain important things. And the more we are loving in relationship to ourselves and others, the more we'll be able to feel the love, to be kind to ourselves and others, the more we will be able to move forward. And we do not need to create any circumstances for that. We have all our memory banks. So whenever memory comes in, it's an opportunity to be kind and to be enlightened and to have a responsible, mature relationship in relationship to our past. For the past was only there to teach us certain lessons. So do not be judgmental in relationship to your past. Letting go of all those things that are not joy. For joy, when we move into joy, we have to discover joy, and joy will lead us to more joy. For the inner world the outer world is a reflection of what's going on inside of us. And so I'm going to pull a few cards from the Akash. Those three continents, this is very old memories. There's been many advanced civilizations that were, the memory is re-emerging. Atlantis, Lemuria, the Sri Lanka, those continents will re-emerge. But Atlantis was moved at the end of Atlantis. It became the Antarctica. It's been frozen, and it has to. We eventually it will defrost, and we'll be able to rediscover all kinds of. For there is this new this new Earth that is being in preparation. This grid, this interconnected grid, this interconnected matrix. For now, there's only a few more years for this old program, this 3D program that will be going on. So we want to be prepared, because when the time of when the veil will fall, a lot of people, whether they're atheists or religious, if they have distorted belief, they'll be surprised, they'll be shocked. But if you're already in the unity of love and the lucidity of unity, then it will just be when the veil will fall, it will only bring you joy, and you will find the meaning of all those things that you've been preparing for, and the service that you will be able to give out into the world. The highest wisdom for us today is the scribe or the writer. It is important to take note, to always to be to continue to write. I've finished my first book. I'm looking forward to starting my second one. I'm going to finish the English translation. For the book is already online, but the English translation is not perfect. I translated it fast. I wanted to put it online, but I will refine it. The first few chapters is called Beyond the Veils of Illusion I Am. It's in my playlist. The first few chapters they're quite well translated. The first 5 chapters, I put 11 chapters out of 13, but take notes of everything. Take notes of your interdimensional, of your dreams, of your intuition. To always keep a journal if possible. What we need to understand is the lessons and the good deeds. We once we understand our lessons, we will be able to harvest our good deed. We're not here to harvest to harvest the fruits of spirit. For this is really the freedom at the end of the journey. Will make up for all the suffering that we've been through the whole program of the samsara, the hundreds of incarnations we had. What we need to do is the bride and groom. We have to become the bride and groom. We have to become love friendly and to be ready to embrace a new level of relationships. That's the way I read it. And the outcome is enslavement and imprisonment. So it's about being free from the cage, free to let our wings to be able to fly, to let go of all the old conditioning in order to allow ourselves to be transported. Life can transport us, and when we're transported into a train that is not one of joy, just stop the train, get out and move into another train. Yet when we are in the train of ascension for this power of the divine, when you submit yourself to this power of the higher self, we are led into a path that will free us. It's just our resistance to those things, our resistance to those things that are good because of unconscious fear for the most part. I'm going to finish with a song. It's an old song from the 60s or 70s. For most of the songs I sing come from the 60s and 70s and even 80s. There was some really good music. It was when I was a teenager. Or music has more impact when you're growing up than afterwards. But I feel there was a great deal of wealth in those types of in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. It really doesn't mean that there's been some great music. Afterwards, but this really what impacted me the most. And it's like in art, it doesn't mean that there's not some great art that's been produced after 1950, but for me modern art, 1850, 1950 is my favorite period in art history. And so this is an old song. It went through my mind. I thought I practice. Soon I'm going to be able to write my own songs. I know that. It's just I don't know when, but there is no rush. But music is like sometimes you need a time of practice with all the arts. It took me 7 years after I left art school to create art that was completely unique and completely mine, so different than anything that's ever been produced. And so it is about the same thing with music. Some people just move on right away into this talent because they have acquired. But sometimes it takes a bit of practice. So I hope you don't mind. I've sing those songs. And this one is called A Whiter Shade of Pale. We skip the light fandango, turn cartwheels, cross the floor. I was feeling kind of seasick, but the crowd called out for more. The room was humming harder as the ceiling flew away. When we called out for another drink, and the waiter brought his tray. And so it was that later, as the miller told his tale, that a face at first just ghostly turned a whiter shade of pale. She said there is no reason, and the truth is plain to see, that I wandered through my playing card, and I would not let her be. one of 16 Vestal virgins who were leaving for the coast. And although my eyes were open, they might as well just been closed. And so it was that later, as the miller told his tale, that a face at first just ghostly turned a wider shade of pale. And so it was that later, as the miller told his tale, that a face at first just ghostly turned a wider shade of pale, turned a wider shade of pale, turned a wider shade of pale. Well, thank you for sticking till the end. I'm going to put one more card from the Archangels as a bonus for those who stick till the end. If you watched it till the end, please let me know by writing "I am" in the comment section with capital letter "I am." Those two paintings are about this great realization of the "I am." It is the name of God. It is your name. But be careful also what you qualify when you say "I am." If you're sad, just repeat to yourself "I am happy." Even if it does not feel right, if you repeat to yourself "I am happy" all day, at the end of the day, you will be happy. You won't know why. So those are very powerful words. But when you say I am, means I was, I am, and I always will be. You recognize your divine essence. It says I am. And so it's very, very powerful words. And so be careful how you use your words. Your words are powerful. And so we want to condition ourselves to always stick to those words that bring us to this empowerment. The card of the day is the Ace of Ariel. It is your lucky day. New resources, money, time, support. A change of profession or promotion. So it is all afoot, it is all ready, it is all ahead, it is right there. Do not let yourself be fooled by the distractions of the ego, by the dark shadows, by the that can make you believe that there is anything else that is potential or before you. Just focus on this positive, breathe in the light, become the light, and things will be open to miracle as you miracle each and every day, and be ready to receive those miracles. Well, I hope this message was meaningful for you. I thank you for liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing. I wish you a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Namaste.